All right. Thank you for everyone for joining us. It is 2 o'clock on this Ash Wednesday for those of you who observe. Perhaps maybe a set of days here to think about not something to give up, but something to take upon yourself to make it a little turn in season so that we recharge ourselves. And my team came up with this idea. I love it. February is also Heart Healthy Month. And I think a lot of us throughout this pandemic school year have been really trying to chill and keep that stress level down. So for those of you just joining us for the first time, thank you. Know that we have previous recorded What's Up Wednesday lives available for you. Really the goal is just to have an open way to, number one, see your faces. If you put on your camera, great. This is being recorded, so that's totally up to you. We miss seeing you all in person at our weekly and certainly monthly meetings and visits to your sites. And we wanted a way to connect and be able to provide you resources. So as always, our team strives to be your partner and to support your needs. And this unprecedented year, we've really taken a monthly time doing this virtually so that we can stay connected and focused around curated resources for you and your team. So we know you're busy. We know oftentimes you're doing the emergency must-do operations of the day. And our goal still is to continue to support that, but also certainly not lose our mission that wholesome meals fuel healthy lives. And what do we do to get you to that level in your program? So today's topics, again, the February Chill is going to be full of information about supporting your back of the house resources for you. Certainly the first is going to be some personal stuff because we love to share with you guys and we miss y'all. Then we're going to talk a little bit about fine-tuning your finances, because I think if there's any way to chill, it's to really focus on this last semester and kind of getting it across the finish line in terms of capitalizing on all the ways to maximize your reimbursements as well as minimize your expenses. And then last but not least, the last couple times we've been doing this, and I think it's been well received, we've welcomed some friends and partners. One of my favorite tags besides our mission statement is you can't give good service unless you get it. Often many of our staff meetings, we pull along our resources at Gordon Food Service. And so today we're going to allow Jeff and Kathy to join us and talk about ways to hopefully decrease your stress level. And dare we say the word out of stocks? Sorry. We're going to talk about it and talk about ways to help be proactive and less frustrated. And so what I'm going to start with is maybe a steal this idea, because I think being like the long weekend, maybe being snowed in, first of all, the wine was a good call, ladies. You're welcome on that. We got that extra snow day. But Pasonic Partners practice what we preach. And so one way to keep our team morale up is we've been doing things like book club. So we read Dare to Lead. I know many of you guys do. I'm onto this new one, guys. Be careful. The Happiness Advantage, that might not be next month's project. But this month's project, we got a little hands-on. And so as a team, these 3 ingredients from Trader Joe's, if you recognize the label, were provided to the team. And the instruction was make something magical. Take your time, do your thing, create a recipe, and share out. And so we say food is our love language. We love doing that for you in the form of recipe development, which we'll talk a lot about today. But I wanted to show you some of the creations, knowing that, we are doing this at home and really living this. This was Marge. Marge Robeson is one of our dietitians. Many of you know works heavily in our Healthy Pro program. So if you've often communicated with her. She decided to take that Harvest Grain blend and her pepper. She is not showing herself drinking the wine, but she did narrate that for us, that, she had a great time cooking while being enjoying that at home. But what this ancient grain, obviously we all love ideas of how to use really healthy for you whole grains. This included baby garbanzo beans and couscous and quinoa. It was just a really cool blend. She made stuffed peppers, and then with the leftovers made herself a pasta salad. So stay tuned. You might be seeing some ancient grain recipe inspiration. We also do not lack creativity on our team. And so this one, I'm going to give a nod to our sweet Tina Hastings. So not only did she kind of put her scape up, she did some really cool things by using watermelon rinds and an infused flavor for her dish to not only create an enhanced flavor, but just really out of the thinking. So her process was kind of cool, and she kind of talked to us about what she used and added to kind of make her love language come to life. And then for you Mickey lovers, she also did a little tablescape. For the vegetarians in us, we know we have Sarah on our team. This is a tempura tofu. So girlfriend got a little jazzy over there at her house and also made some kind of cake, which, I didn't provide those ingredients. So again, The ingredients are just the stepping stone, and that goes for my team and goes for all of you. We try to infuse a little innovation, and then the world is up to you. So she certainly made a nice dish and enjoyed that. And then this is another out-of-the-box thinking. So this is Lauren's. First of all, I'm just going to nod to all things Lauren, keeping it real, and the red Solo Cup edition really made my day into this recipe. But she made a fritter, and certainly we all were inspired by each other's concepts. Sonic got a little crazy as well because I put David out on the grill. Yes, in sub-degree weather in the snow, my man has to shovel out and grill for me. If you haven't tried it, I'm a big fan of grilled romaine, and I missed the flavors and the warmth of summer, so we did a little infusion. I took my peppers and I actually roasted them with garlic and then pureed them to make a garlic roasted red pepper sauce, and I topped my cod and my couscous that was reduced with stock for our plate this weekend. So our love language is your love language, and what we really want to do is just that we are partners in and continuing that spirit of innovation. So 3 ingredients: challenge your team, do something fun, do a book read, do something to keep the morale of your team up. And those are just some quick examples of how we've been doing that in these chilly winter months. Want to point to some loving yourself moments. And this one is a resource that I think we don't talk a lot about. If you haven't ever visited our resource section on our Pasonic website, this month's blog feature is all about heart health. So again, going back to decreasing your stress, giving you resources that make you be able to be the best of yourself. You can't be good for others unless you're good for yourself. So we care about you and your health as well. And this February, we've talked a lot about some heart healthy tips that might be beneficial for you and your team when you talk about giving yourself a little self-love. On to my favorite thing to do, and that is always kind of dig deep and figure out what Pasonic can do better to help you out. And so from our lens, oftentimes, the things that made me happy as I sat as a food service director is, number one, always remember that and walk in your shoes. And we know this year has dampened a lot of innovation just because of the need of necessity, right? The pivots of emergency feeding, what that looks like, not having kids in the buildings and brick and mortars. So what we developed was a My School menu, what we're calling Back of the House. That's what BOH stands for you. And it is a tool that is going to hopefully provide you a month at a glance between this month, February, all the way through the end of this semester for what we know we really push, and that is how to inspire your recipes and inspire your menu. We at Pasonic Partners had the pillars, and we still do, the local, the harvest, the smarter lunchroom theory, and also what can we do to maximize the innovation of the labor you have on your team, using commodity foods, making sure we're leveraging all of the supports at our hands to be able to get you the best menu concepts your kids will eat. So we want to provide you those supportive resources. And also, we would be remiss, we have Gordon on the call today. We often have industry here. I think I see Holly. We have so many partners in industry that have really dug deep again during this year to provide us more and more turnkey resources to help us innovate and be inspired, knowing that our time is limited. So I want you to consider this. So this is the look many of you know the My School Menus has for your school monthly menus. So obviously this looks a little different because it's not for your parents or your students, it's for you. It's for the back of the house, it's for your cook teams, it's for your staff, so they can kind of navigate and play on their own. So what did we create? We created a curated month at a glance resource that's not only going to include a weekly recipe theme. So every first week of the month, you're going to see something called our Harvest of the Month. And of course, a nod to our farm to school, keeping what's harvest available through the local streams we have through Gordon Food Service and OSC, always mindful of the fact that the cafeteria is an extension of the classroom, and we have an opportunity to make small tweaks and changes to really impact not only children's knowledge of where food comes from, but also supporting our local farmers. The second week is Simply Fresh. We know that there's not a lot of time in some of our kitchens, and there is still time to do something Simply Fresh and perhaps an easier, different preparation of a whole food, a whole produce item that will be able to make your tray pop with a little more innovation. Thirdly, we're very proud to really provide a look and a deeper dive into the ethnic diversity and cultural diversity within the school districts we serve. So we're hoping to capitalize on featured recipes that really tailor ideas around curated global on-trend flavors that will help you provide information and supports in ethnic diversity in your menuing options. And last but not least, you know what? Mac and cheese, pizza, things aren't going away. And you know we've taught you ways to make them healthier for kids. We know there's some classics on that lunch menu that need to stay. And so we want to make sure that you're looking at new ways to perhaps present those and serve those in maximizing your commodity dollars and your budget, not only for resources, but for what the kids know, right? That the kids want. So on Tuesday, at a glance, we're going to try to tell you, because I know right away somebody will say, well, blah, 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 I'm not going there. And some people will say, you know, we've already been doing that. So we've tried to make it easy for you by giving you a difficulty level as well as needed equipment to kind of, at a glance, understand if this is a recipe you want to tackle. I love a good Instapot app, and I have it. And some days I pick the advanced recipes and go after it. And some days I'm like, no way, too many steps. So this is really meeting you where you're at in terms of your level of dipping your toe back into some of that scratch cooking vibe in your kitchens. Wednesday will always feature the recipe, and we're going to show you in a minute here. We're really super excited. The winter months, we've hunkered down and we've created some great tools and resources. Really, I'm just so proud of my team and really all of the efforts of industry and everybody that supports us for Friday to be able to curate this for you so you have one-stop shopping. So as I said, again, this is going to show you the white arrows are just addressing where you would click to find more information. And when you click on, for instance, the harvest of the month for February, you're going to be able to see popped up, again, a version of what your parents would see for the menu items, but tailored for you in the back of the house. And what I mean by that is it's going to be a quick glimpse into not only the ingredients, but the process. Many of you have said, I don't know if I want to try that recipe. I don't know. I'd have to look at what it takes to make it. So this, again, really quick, one click, you'll be able to see the ingredients and the steps at a glance. The other pieces that are always important for us is those that those of you that know the attributes. So many of you are saying, hey, I'm looking for perhaps a scratch or a vegan or a gluten-free. These are going to be right there for you to be able to view not only the nutritions, but also the meal component contributions, allergens, and attributes. So the next slide here is going to show you the three little highlighted blue hyperlinks are the new additions that I'm really, really proud of for use and ease of use for you to perhaps put this in the hands of anyone who you would share this link with. The first one is going to be a link to a how-to video. And so instead of going in and out, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to give you some homework. You guys to go into this after you get the link and play with it. But each recipe is going to have 3 ways to learn. We all know adult learners learn a lot differently. Many of us have learned on YouTube videos. And we believe that that is a trend that supports every style learner on how to see a recipe come to life. So there will be a link on how to build the video, the recipe through video. The second is, some of us are old school. You like to print something out and you like to put it on your table next to you, and you really appreciate a visual cookbook, if you will. So this is what's called our Canva or picture guide for our menu. And so again, very similar to the video itself, you're going to see all of the pictures in stepwise fashion on how that recipe comes to life. And the third link, so probably only second most to complaints and stress levels about a menu not fitting on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper for a parent. The other frustration we hear is when I go to print out a recipe in Healthy Bro, print stuff on 3 pages. So we heard you. And while we don't own the software license and can change that, we can change what we can change, and that is a quick at a glance 1-pager. So if you are, again, that person that wants to either print this off and create a recipe binder and create a team building exercise with your head cooks to create new recipes, and you want it to be tangible and touching versus technical, this we hope you see supports every type of learning possibility. To kind of go on that more, our side widgets, we love that. We coach you to look at your widgets and use it to tell the story of your school department, your mission statement. In the times when we were doing it, how to connect with you, how to fill out a free and reduced app, how to figure out more about what your school's doing. These are really, for lack of a better word, little advertisement space for you. So we decided to capitalize that and provide even more resources. So you will see not only just the definition of what makes a recipe easy, intermediate, or advanced, you're going to see other links, because one thing we know is there's been a birth, the COVID silver lining is a birth of a lot of free resources at your fingertips. The problem is finding the time to navigate them and click through them and watch them. So we, again, hope to curate this at a month-by-month glance for you. You'll see as you click into our resource, Healthy School Recipes, which are principal guides for more recipe inspiration. along with other themed inspiration provided by manufacturers such as JTM and this creation of the mac and cheese bowls, as well as Harvest of the Month ideas, and certainly ideas on free items that you can order to continue to support your efforts. And last but not least, you see that at the bottom there we have this Barilla whole grain pasta cooking school, because who doesn't really need to refresh how to cook pasta and hold it and keep it well? That's always another pain point. So again, curated industry insight for you. You always know you got us. So we are going to house this on our NutriSmart website, and then for those of you who use our tool and use our database, we're just one quick support ticket away to help inspire your menu at support@ppllc.info. Moreover, most all of you have my cell phone, and I answer it when you call me. So it's like the bat line. So give me a call, text if we can support you. I'm going to show this short video, and the way I'm going to show it is I'm going to exit out and play it here. You're not going to hear anything, but hopefully you'll see it moving. One of the things that we wanted to do, at the beginning of pandemic, you'd be lying if you didn't tell me you knew who The Weeknd was for the Super Bowl, not because of the artist, but because of that TikTok video that everybody was trying to do and the motions. So the next viral thing that TikTok has provided for us is this quick hack on how to wrap a tortilla. And so in this short 55-minute video, 55-second video rather, you're going to see multiple different tortilla recipes that Pasonic has videoed for you to kind of show you not only a different style of maybe upping your wrap game, but how to wrap it, right? I will tell you, I learned first about this TikTok hack through my college-age daughter when she was home over pandemic. She made herself some really good breakfast wraps like that. And so certainly we are excited about looking for ways to inspire you. And we have tried to do that through these quick videos. So we definitely want to be able to get you informed, get you ready to rock and roll. Let's see if this presents back where I'm at. I hope so. And then we certainly want to be able to make sure you realize that they're easy, they're accessible, they're quick to use, all of which will be curated on that month-at-a-month glance. So certainly for many of you who understand what we try to do at Pasonic is make your life easier. I'm hopeful that you found a little bit of that innovative energy through the screen, and know that we certainly are prepared to continue to support training remotely as well as in person. And so I'm going to pass it over to one of our team members now to kind of switch gears a little bit and talk about other ways not only to innovate and energize your program, but to de-stress and chill as you think forward, how can I be innovative when I'm under budget crunches? So I'm going to pass it over to Tina.
Okay, so we were on a meeting last week with Megan from General Mills, and she kind of popped something into all of our heads. As we all know, all we've been thinking about is COVID for the past almost year. And so it's kind of nice when she mentioned, oh, it's a savings of 4 cents, and it kind of triggered, oh my goodness, we've not even thought about anything. So a lot of districts have been hurting this year with the way that everything's going. So we've been looking at different ways to kind of save. I don't know how many times I've heard, oh, it's only 2 cents. It doesn't make a difference. I've had a girl say, oh, I gave a chicken nugget away, and oh, it's only 5 cents. That ain't going to hurt anything. 5 cents hurts a lot when you stop and you break it all down. So that's where we kind of looked at here. General Mills is bringing out a 2-grain cereal bowl. They have the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Well, as we're preparing our breakfast, most of us do a 1-grain breakfast item, so we know they have to have that second item, and that's kind of where they had broke this down, showing us where a 2-grain cup versus 2 1-grain items, where the difference came. So you're talking a difference in 9 cents when you figure out one meal. 9 cents now. If you on the next page, you'll see that we kind of broke it down, and it shows, okay, 100, we serve 100 students at 9 cent savings. That's $9. Now, if you do this twice a week, it's 18. By the month, 72. Yearly, it's $648. Now, again, what if you do 1,000 students, larger districts? When you figure this out, over $6,000 in savings just by adding a 1-2 ounce cereal bowl versus giving the kids 2 grain items. Now, most of us have already thought about this. We think, okay, we give us string cheese, we don't give them 2 grains. But as we're coming back into brick and mortar and the kids are on site, we're giving them options. We're going to be pulling back that offer versus serve, where you may have, muffins out there, banana breads, different things. So these kids may take 2 chocolate muffins versus a muffin and string cheese. So they're kind of ways you want to think about how you put them. Maybe you bundle them together in a boat and you put that string cheese with that 1 grain muffin versus letting that kid pick 2 muffins. Kind of sway them to, it's all about, getting them to take that cheaper item and keeping our costs down. Now you are going to get those kids that still take the 2 items, the 2 muffins, that. But at least this way we're kind of selling them the thought, especially with younger kids. I find elementary kids, they're taking, they take what we give them, they take 1 bite out and throw it out. So now if they're taking 2 muffins, they're taking 1 bite of that muffin and throwing it out. So it's not cost efficient, and it's, and it's also waste. So as we were thinking about this, okay, scratch pizza, it's a money saver and it's an added flavor. Think about that. We've all been doing pizzas, and we have had a pain point a little bit with our pizzas not being there because of the way we've been serving our kids this year. So now we're coming back into the buildings. What a better way just to make our pizzas. Think about it. It smells wonderful. You have that fresh dough that's rising, and it just wafts through the building. So if you look at it, it's, we're showing here, it costs 37 cents to make a homemade pizza. When you look at one serving for the pizzas, Big Daddies, and more of the popular ones, you're talking anywhere from 59 to 63 cents for a slice versus 37. Now, not every district's going to be able to do a homemade pizza, go with the dough ball and make it, but they also have, the semi-homemade. You can use the pre-made crust, the self-rising crust. Not all of us have enough bodies to do all this. You could do the self-rising, or you can do the par-cooked crust, and you're still putting that sauce on, you're putting the cheese on, you're cooking it, and you're still having that smell through your kitchen. And it, again, another cost saver. So you're saving anywhere from maybe, like, what do we have? The 24-cent difference. I took kind of the higher priced one against the homemade one, and you're talking 24-cent difference. So again, monthly, you're saving $192 if you're doing pizza once a week. Yearly, $1,700 a saving. So then, as we're still talking about, kind of the pizza pain, why not change it up? Do a flatbread. There's another item that we could be doing. So it's not pizza every week. Make our flatbreads. I mean, and this is a huge, our kids loved flatbreads when we made these homemade flatbreads. And it doesn't take long. That's it. I think in our mind, our girls think, oh, it's homemade, it takes so long. It's not. We're doing kind of a semi-homemade. And especially with the local squares, you order them, it's best way to get rid of extras. If you have leftovers, you're not throwing anything out. You have that leftover taco meat, throw it on, make some flatbreads. Leftover baked meat, I'm like the queen of finding ways to repurpose anything left over. And, I have like 2 handfuls of black beans. I can't throw it out in my mind. I can make a taco flatbread, so it's all different ways, and you're saving money. You're talking, versus getting the pre-made flatbreads again. And they're also, so they're larger, especially as we're dealing with high school kids. We look at them, and sometimes one of those prepackaged flatbreads just isn't big enough, but you're making these homemade ones and it works out great. So we've also looked into, let's talk breakfast. How many of us, the breakfast bagels, the sausage biscuits, and, I know it's worked out perfect during this time with the pandemic, the pre-wrapped sausage biscuits. But, if you make them yourself, you're getting these biscuits, and all it is a matter of putting a sausage on a biscuit and wrapping it, and you're, going from 34 cents, you're saving to 40 some cents. So it's a little bit of difference, you're seeing, 6 cents. 6 cents, again, may not sound like much as you're looking at here, but when you look at it on the long run, you could save $684 again a month. So we did the breakfast burritos. Another thing, if you're doing French toast and scrambled eggs one day on our menu, how awesome is it to leave those, make a little extra scrambled eggs, make them into breakfast burritos. Not as time consuming as everybody looks, but it's also a big penny saver. So homemade muffins, yeah, I know the kids love the muffins. That's the one thing we know, kids love muffins. Think about it. It's not, I mean, yes, you can do them totally from scratch. If you have a lot of labor, that, you need to utilize, some of the districts have girls standing around right now because they can't find anything to do. What a great way. Make your muffins from scratch, bag them up. It's a penny to put them in a baggie. It costs a penny. You're talking 13 cents a muffin to make it from scratch versus 33 cents when you're ordering them. And again, it smells good, it's great, and it's, again, if you have those girls standing around thinking, oh man, look at what am I going to do with them, perfect way to do it. And it's also getting our hands back in there. And if you don't have the extra labor, doing them with the muffin mix, took 5 minutes. We made them in the kitchen. I could not believe how quick. I would have never thought we could have done them as quick as we did. And here you're talking 19 cents versus 34 cents. So big savings when you're talking down the road. And I think we had, okay, our bistros. That's another thing. If anything, this pandemic has taught us, I know we do a lot more bistro boxes now. We're doing a lot of prepping, especially because they transfer well when we're doing our virtual and our remote feeds. Making them ourselves, we find shortcuts. How do we do this? A walkaway taco, you're putting your bag tortilla chips in your cheddar cheese cup, your salsa cup. Yeah, it's nice and dandy, and it's worked out perfect through this pandemic. But why not keep these on? These kids love these build your own pizzas, your walkaway tacos, and then do them on your, do it on your own side. Do the mozzarella or the cheddar cheese. You pour in the souffle cup. It saves you money. Mozzarella sticks, we've been on a bit of a, shortage with that one. One of the ways we found, you buy a loaf of mozzarella and cut it. Again, it's, it may not, and some of those may not be as big of a savings as you're looking at, but it's also going to help so that you have the product still that these kids are used to. I know when the string cheese were short, we're like, oh no, we have little kids that wouldn't eat anything. They take it just for the string cheese. Same with the hard boiled egg. Boil them, order the eggs fresh and boil them. I mean, it saves it, and nothing's better than that. So you could see, and I think I'm going to pass this. I think, was this my last one, Lauren? Yeah, so I'm going to pass this off to Lauren, and she's going to talk some more.
Awesome. Thanks, Tina. So as you can see, Tina is our resident penny pincher on the team, which is very beneficial to all of us. I know that personally, she's kind of inspired me to become a bit more of a penny pincher this year. And we really haven't had much of a choice with all things COVID. So that's kind of, personally speaking, been a big change in how I approach, what we're putting on the menu and certainly how we're packaging it. So you can see, from each of these individual examples, the potentially hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of savings just by making one of these changes. So each of these items were chosen with intent. They're all very popular menu items that we're seeing across the board in a lot of our districts. So if you make these changes once or maybe even twice per week, this is the kind of the long-term savings that you could potentially be looking at. So we wanted to break it down in terms of small, medium, and then large districts, or certainly serving sizes. I know, with Garfield, our servings have kind of fluctuated a bit this year with COVID. We've seen some drop off, but for a small district, you're potentially saving nearly $5,000. Then if you're talking some of our bigger districts, we know we've got some of our districts have upwards of 7,000 kids that are enrolled. Even if just a fraction of those kids are eating with us every single day, you could potentially save $50,000, nearly $50,000 in just these little savings. I apologize. My neighbor is like snow blowing right now. I tried to move. But this is a big deal. We know that a lot of folks are still recovering from some deficits that they faced in the spring and certainly into this year. So just by making these small changes could be huge for your budgets. Again, speaking with some of the stuff that I've worked on with my staff in Garfield, I'll put these things on the menu. I kind of told them we're really not going to do much individually wrapped stuff. We've got the staff to do this ourselves. And I think most recently, we put a bagel with cream cheese on our menu for our weekend bags. And I immediately got a text from a manager. She's like, that they have cups of cream cheese, right? Because I put the big 10-pound brick and portioned it out into the individual cups on their menu. I'm like, yes, I know they have the cups, but we have so many staff members. We're going to cup it ourselves. We are more than capable of doing it, and it's going to save us a lot of money in the long run. To Tina's point, you might not think those pennies really matter, but I can definitely say they do matter now that I've kind of paid a little bit closer attention to that this year. So with all of these savings, Obviously, that's great on paper, but what that really means for your department is you could be hiring staff with these savings. If you are short staffed, that could be huge. That could be another part-time or potentially even full-time person for your district. Or you could purchase a ton of new equipment. Fortunately, there are some like grants available to help us with that, but you could literally be, pinching these pennies and making big changes in the long run. So again, definitely worth some consideration, kind of taking a look at your menu and seeing some cost saving tips and tricks and where you can kind of pinch pennies in your own department. So that was all I had to add there. I will pass it over to Sarah. She's going to be covering all things safety and health.
All right. Hello, everyone. So we're just going to talk a little bit about safety. Always hand washing. I feel like I say that every time we get on one of these, but of course that's still going to be vital. I know I've heard a lot of my ladies now that the weather has gotten very cold and dry, complaining about dry hands. I've made recommendations to purchase oatmeal-based lotions to put into the kitchens to try to help everybody as we're washing hands a lot right now, to be able to put a little bit of that on to kind of help subside some of the dry skin that we're all kind of dealing with, but that shouldn't be a deterrent from hand washing. And even with the vaccines, I think that this is something that's really important as we're all moving through this, that we still need to keep social distanced. So even if everybody in the department is getting vaccinated, I can pretty much say with confidence, at least one person in each of my kitchens has chosen not to take the vaccine. So we still have to keep them safe. And then February, if you didn't know, is Heart Health Month. So just as a way for us to kind of encourage you for some heart health is to save some money. So again, the small changes that Tina and Lauren just alluded to can make some really big changes in your overall budget this year, which I know we are all trying to sort that out right now and hoping for things to get to a better place. Obviously, we're trying to inspire your staff with new recipes and ideas. As Maureen had talked about, our new back of the house view of my school menus so that you can try some new things as easy as putting together a couple of ingredients that you already have, maybe just in a new way. And then obviously, we just want to encourage you to prioritize your own self-care and take time for yourself this month. And then we just wanted to go over some caught doing something good. We love these moments. So Tina's team at Woodridge actually did our first out-of-the-box training. They did a little pilot to see how it would go. So they received a box of food, kind of similar to Green Chef or Hello Fresh, and they were able to make a recipe. So they used our canvas, they used our videos, and they created some recipes. You see pictures of a pineapple fried rice and a Mexican pasta salad. This is something new that we're going to be offering as a way that we can either come on site if you feel comfortable, we'll mask and social distance, or if you would like us to do trainings remotely that we can set up. As you can see, Maureen's on the computer screen and she was able to be there without actually being there. So this is just a cool new way that we're, again, just trying to continue to offer professional development and be innovative, even with all of the craziness that is still going on in our world right now. And then we had the Ohio School Breakfast Challenge. So some January superstars that we just wanted to highlight is Fairview Park, Garfield Heights, and Woodridge. So congratulations to all of you and your hard work in making sure that you feed your kids and they start their day off with a nutritious meal. All right, and then just some free training if you're not aware. The Institute of Child Nutrition has lots of professional development training that your ladies can sit and do in their kitchens. They can sit in the warmth and comfort of their home. Again, we still need to make sure that we are keeping up with our professional development training. That didn't go away just because of all things COVID. I think we got a little bit of a slide last like March through May, but this year there isn't going to be an ask for forgiveness kind of situation. And if you did have an administrative review in the 16-17 school year, the 5-year cycle is up. So next school year, 21-22, you will be up for review and they will be looking over these things. So just make sure you're getting your staff trained and then keeping the necessary documentation for that as well. All right, some important dates and deadlines. Remember that your DoD survey is due the 19th of this month. Make sure that you get that done so that you're all set for next year. Yep, we're already talking about next school year and it's only February. On the 24th, there's going to be an ODE town hall. These are really great. You can get on KERS and sign up through the training management link at the bottom by the sign-in. And that will just give you some more information about USDA Foods program. If you also, the email we sent out this morning and the reply from Christine Farmer, she is trying to get the hydroponic lettuce added to the DoD catalog for next school year. So that would be awesome if we could use our PAL dollars to be able to buy hydroponic lettuce for our kids. And then again, another important, we do have to do verification this year. I know there was lots of confusion and back and forth whether we were going to get a waiver on that. Ohio did not. So verification is due on the 28th of this month. And this is a short month, so make sure that you are ready to go. And I will pass it back to Maureen, I believe.
Well, I am super excited just to give you a couple of ideas of how we continue to stay connected, and we'll be curating our resources for you. We recently got our hands on this little nifty Waypoint tool, and I know Holly's on the call today, and many of you, you get her emails. If you haven't had a chance to look through this, certainly another one-stop shopping kind of resource, which is interactive. And so we just wanted to highlight it. We will send it out for you in a link tomorrow in case you lost that email. I know most of us not only are Zoom fatigue, but we're also getting buried in emails. So we want to make sure, again, part of our service to you is to curate and keep putting ahead of you and in front, first, top of mind, some of the things we're finding out in the world as super resources. This, again, is going to go through commodities, have recipe links, and videos associated with their chefs and their teams. The next is there, for those of you who are thinking about how to do more meatless options. We always have the Meatless Monday and vegetarian vegan supports, but now a set of schools also honors no meat on Friday between now and April. And so we do want to make sure you have some opportunities to take a look at this resource. It's obviously a tuna fish base, but also, again, another creative resource that we will send to you to talk about recipes with our partners there at Waypoint. So I'm going to hand it over to, I think Jeff is going to start, but Jeff and Kathy are both on the call. For those of you, oftentimes, again, our team kitchen meetings, we would have them join specific questions to help you give good service by getting good service. So I'm going to pass that over to Jeff. Thanks, Jeff.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much, Maureen and the Basonic team. I'm Jeff Owens, and you may know the name Kathy Zakelli. And between the two of us, we cover nearly all of Northeast Ohio, and I cover a lot of counties down the Pennsylvania border to the south. Today, we want to talk to you about three things that are really going to, we think, be very helpful to you. Some of it's going to be clear the air a little bit, but there's real opportunities for at least two of them. One is Gordon Now, which I'll touch on here first. Then our inside sales reps, just to touch base on those, we call them ISTs. And then Kathy's going to give us a little info on the upcoming virtual food show. Gordon Now has three components to it. Today, we're going to overview the Gordon Now app, one piece of the three parts that are Gordon Now. This slide is just to show you, if you see to the far right of your shopping cart, see the personal assistant called Gordon Now. If you see that, that's a different aspect. Happy to cover that with you if you've ever liked to. But for today, we're going to talk about the app on your phone. Next slide, please. Gordon Now has an app feature which works on Androids or on iPhones. I use it myself to demonstrate for others, and it works spectacularly to help you with, on the day of delivery, key information, as well as some other things. Next. Right, here's the three different aspects of the entire Gordon Business Assistant. We're going to talk about the one in the middle, the app. It's free. You would download it like any other app. It's got an arrival time window that we'll show you in a moment. It's got an ETA that's a more refined time on the morning of your delivery. It's got your orders that are in place on there. You can utilize it as a multi-unit director. So if you're a school district with 7 buildings, you may have each of your units know what's going on through Gordon Now, the app. On the other hand, if you've got 1 or 2 buildings and you need to keep a little tighter rein on what goes on with deliveries, you may just have both of your accounts on your phone and look at them yourself. I love the fact that it does have an alert section, which a lot of times won't have anything in it because there's nothing that's earth-shattering to alert you about. Second only to temp outs is something called a short ship. If you've never heard of one, good for you. But they do happen, and that alert would be on this app as well the morning of your delivery. Next slide. So you download the app. It's free. Let me back up. You go to the App Store to download the app. And I should have carried this in at the beginning, but I'll tell you now. If you want to set this up, or a lot of this sounds vague to you, or you're like, you know, Jeff, that technology, no. I'd be more than happy to talk with you on the phone, come out and meet with you all masked up and in a hazmat suit if you want me to be. This is super simple. We got this going nearly 18 months ago. I've got 20 or 30 districts using of it. I've got another 50 to 70 that do not, and I think it's a miss because of what it does for you. Next slide, please. So you've downloaded the app. It's a one-time setup that we could do together. It's less than 5 minutes to get you set up because once you log in and set up your login and go in, it knows you and it knows accounts that are associated to your customer numbers. All right. So that means setup is simple. This picture shows you the arrival window. And I'll take a moment here just to make a distinction. Arrival window is the information in general, based on averages, of what your delivery window is going to be week in and week out. So it knows, our system knows, it's called a routing system. It knows in general, on no bad weather day, no flat tire, no problems at the warehouse, this is how your route's going to go on the morning of your delivery, okay? That's what arrival window shows. And when you log in, this is one of the first things that comes up, a picture of your driver in most weeks, right? Snow weeks like this, a lot of bets are off. But in general, your driver's picture, an arrival window, and then in between arrival window and alerts, not shown there, is now a new section called ETA delivery, okay? And that is on the morning of your delivery, once your truck leaves our warehouse, our system gets updated via GPS to make a more refined estimate of your delivery time. So it could show 11:10 as your delivery at your elementary school building. I can tell you with confidence, it works spectacularly in normal weather circumstances. And I've been in a room where we asked someone of the 30 attendees, hey, who has a delivery today? And we looked them up on Gordon Now on their iPhone, and it said the delivery's coming at 11:20. And 3.5 hours later, we asked them in that attendee room, hey, call your unit and ask them if the Gordon truck has arrived. And they literally called at 11:21 and said, yeah, he is almost finished now. So it does work because it's based on GPS. The estimated time of delivery, which is not shown here, but will be there, is the time the morning of your delivery day, okay? So if you're having coffee at 10 after 5, you could look and get your first estimate. And here's a small key to remember. If something changes on that route, like a flat tire, or the other end of the spectrum, let's suppose the guy has a heavy load, someone joins him to jump in and he begins to pick up speed, it reassesses and updates. So you could look at 10 after 5 and your delivery time says 9:15. You could look at 7:30 and it might say 8:30 and moved up 45 minutes or moved back 90 minutes if some unfortunate thing happened. So it updates as well. Next slide. This is where you would go on a delivery day and look at your current delivery for one building or any one of your buildings if you'd like. And what it allows you to see is what's coming in if you needed that reminder. I don't know about you guys, but I pause and look at the ceiling about 10 times a day and go, I wonder if I remembered that. And sometimes, you know, you'll place your order, and a day and a half later, you'll say to yourself, wow, I wonder if I did order strawberry yogurts. You could look right here. Your phone is in your pocket, presumably, or very near you. And that's where you could get information on the actual order. Here you've got basic contact information, right? Our ChemBev number, and you may not know this because it just happened. Our chemical and beverage service is now called InnoServe. So if you see that name, that's what that means. But this screen shows you that. And that's who you would call for those. Before Kathy gets to food show, be more than happy to help you sort through the 5 or whopping 10 minutes for Gordon Now. I think it is a miss, and I only know that because of the number of calls that Todd Pell and myself get, not because of a snow day, okay, but because challenges happen to you when you get to your building, right? If it were me, and I were a director, and if I even just had 2 buildings, I would look for future leaders on my team, people who say to themselves, or I observe them, hey, they want to make their career better. When I sense that, I give them this, especially if it's a young person who has an iPhone, who loves the app concept, who probably would get it better than me, right? But I would say you're the lead at the elementary building in this respect. On the morning of delivery, I want you to tell the team when the Gordon's truck is coming and recheck about once an hour to see if the update has changed. That's the way I'd approach it. Happy to help you with it in any way. It's a great, great tool. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff. You know, as we talk about, you know, controlling the things that we can control and less stress, especially in the month of February, you know, I can't think of a better way than to utilize, you know, things that you guys could have 100% control over, and that is, you know, that Gordon Now feature. Just want to remind everybody, so our food show, our spring food show again this year will be virtual. We have taken a stance again, you know, everybody's safety is first and foremost at Gordon Food Service. So while we still understand that, you know, that we're still in a challenging time, not everybody's vaccinated, we are going to present a virtual show. It's going to look a little bit different than our live shows. So if you didn't log on last year for our fall show, it will look a little bit different, but I can assure you that the benefits, the solutions, everything will be top notch. The nice thing about it is that it is 3 days and it's on demand. So if you want to log on to it at 5 in the morning while you're having your coffee, then log on to it at 5 in the morning. If you say, you know what, I just want to get through my day, and when I go home with an adult beverage in my hand, I want to log on and have a adult beverage and peruse through the food show, you're more than welcome to do that. So the seminars, everything about the food show will be on demand for those 3 days. There is a link on both, Jeff, there's a link here that you can certainly register. And when you click on, when this gets sent out and you click on it, it is a quick YouTube, again, all things YouTube tutorial on how to register. And it's very simple, takes 2 minutes to register. Feel free to call myself or Jeff, you know, to walk you through that. The other thing that I want to point out, in addition to the food show and all the features and benefits, one of the things that we are going to be doing this year is there's going to be a dedicated area just for K-12. And within that dedicated area, as if you were at the show live and going into a separate room, there is going to be a separate room of all things K-12. Different links, different support services right in that room. So it'll be a little bit easier to navigate than what we've done in the past. And again, we're really just trying to keep the focus where it's important on the K-12 segment. There, other than that, like I said, the one last thing that I want to point out is, as you think about, normally the spring show is more for ideas, and certainly we want that to continue to be the case. We are going to have what we call a truckload sale. Normally, the items that are on that truckload sale are very heavily focused towards the independent food service, so restaurants, bars, things of that nature. What we are doing is we are looking at some items, some K-12 items that we think might continue to round out your year nicely because they're heavily discounted, as well as maybe jumpstart your summer feeding program. So things like granola bars or things that might really help drive your costs lower, because we're, again, trying to free up that space in our warehouse as school year winds down so that we can either replenish in the summertime or get new items in as well. So be on the lookout for that. Jeff and I will have those items ahead of time to be able to share that with everybody. Any questions as it relates to the food show or Gordon Food Service? Jeff and I are always at your disposal. Not disposable, hopefully. Our phone is on. We do answer it, so please reach out to us as a resource for you and your staff.
Well, thank you guys. We welcome partner addition to this What's Up Wednesday, and part of our chill vibe for today was to hopefully inspire you to gain some resources, some innovation, some inspiration in order to continue to help support, reducing your stress, really, and providing you resources. So thank you to Kathy and Jeff for demonstrating ways that maybe we can put at the fingertips of our staff, ways to ease their burden when they're receiving deliveries or waiting to get something off that truck, or worrying about if it's on it or off. I think many of us know that the pandemic obviously has had outreaching effects, and our supply of food chain supply is no different, right? So there's a lot of things that we've been having to manage, and we hope to avoid continued stress with that by opening up positive communication. So this tool, we hope, is certainly a great way to do that. So we are ending about 10 minutes early. We always open up for questions and answers. Certainly anybody that would like to unmute themselves at this point or type into the chat any questions. Our team is here for you. That goes without saying. We will be sending out a follow-up email tomorrow morning, first thing, to kind of recap these resources and then also share with you the members link for the back of the house My School menu tool. So I really, two things I want to just conclude with, and again, my team, if there's any questions coming through, we can field those. Number one, click on the link, check out the My School menu. Again, in 2 seconds or less, it's a curated month at a glance. Easy enough, yes, inspires you to create some new ideas without having to do all the legwork. Certainly, I think you've seen, typed into the chat, we have industry is willing to support you with information, support you with products. Holly and others in our arena here are really willing to send you samples still. Things like, we're missing the food show. We're not missing the great support we have from industry. So if you have a question with regard to getting some samples, I'm sure you can reach out and discuss those with any of our industry partners. And last but not least, we are here for you as well. So I hope, we were super excited. I think the only thing I said, the disadvantage of being the virtual face in that culinary training was I'm so darn spoiled and used to eating all the recipes afterwards. So maybe it's good for my diet. But I was sitting there going, oh my gosh, look at that, how wonderfully those recipes came together. So we've gotten a couple of calls. We posted that out on our social media, and we've gotten a couple of requests. If you are interested in doing some unique professional development, the way you've seen us do it in the past, again, the feedback we got from this first pilot was it's like HelloFresh came to us. So we know people are out there watching TikTok videos, watching YouTube videos on how to do it. And certainly we know that personally, some of the folks that we work with have really used some of those curated boxes. Some of us have maybe done it for fashion and makeup, but others have done it for food. But it is definitely just that. It's somebody sending you something turnkey. In that box, you saw a copy of the PDF Canva with how-to instructions for the recipes. So it is, again, it kind of models what we would anticipate you use the back of the house tool for as well. I am, again, just above and beyond gratitude for your time, your trust in us and partnership with us, and we're here for you. So if there aren't any questions, I would bid you farewell. Team, I don't know if you want to come off mute and add any final talking points, or certainly Gordon Food Service. I know Holly posted something in the chat here with her direct contact. So for information about the commodity flip book or the star kits, if you don't have Holly McGarry's, it's in the chat. If you don't know how to open that up, just reach out to us. But I think it was really great to see some of my old favorites. Sorry, I don't play favorites because everybody's my favorite, but it was great. You know, Mwasa, thank you for spending time with us today. I always love to see, you know, people that hold administrative positions in districts honor the value that child nutrition brings to the table. And he has been a stellar advocate for Maple Heights City Schools, and you know, we just so excited to get those babies back in brick and mortar. So back to some business as usual, and certainly super happy that you all joined us today. We're here for you. Keep in touch.